Well, hello everyone. It's so nice to see you all. You're probably wondering who I am. Wait, actually, you all probably already know me. And why do I say that? Because I'm actually one of the most famous steam locomotives in America today. The name's Nicholas. Although most of you who are huge rail fans of the Nickel Plate Road, as well as the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society, I am Nickel Plate Road number 765, and I'm here today to tell you my story. Well, starting from the beginning, most of you probably already know that I was built on September 8th, 1944 by the Lima Locomotive Works in Lima, Ohio. And anyway, when I rolled out the shops in Lima, Ohio, I was used for high-speed passengers and freight. I have 8 69-inch drive wheels, and I'm a 284 Berkshire, of which we Berkshires got our names because of our test site up in the Berkshire Mountains in Pennsylvania. Actually, I don't know, it's probably in Ohio. I don't know. When you get to be my age, especially for engines that get to be my age, you do tend to forget some things. I may look old and out of date and old-fashioned, but I guarantee you, I still have a lot of steam to give. Anyway, continuing on with me, I have a boiler pressure of up to 245 pounds per square inch. I have 4,500 horsepower at the coupler, and I can travel at 70 miles an hour. Of which, if you've seen the videos of me flying down the tracks at that speed, you wouldn't think a steam locomotive like me could actually travel at such speeds. I stand just under 16 feet tall, and I stretch at over 100 feet long. And back in my day, I ran high-speed passenger and freight services on the Nickel Plate Road all throughout the mid-40s, that is, until the 1950s. And during the 1950s, when I was doing my work on the Nickel Plate Road, I kept seeing diesels show up left and right, but most of them were mainly passenger diesels. Although sadly, freight contracts kept declining rapidly, and sadly, I was becoming too expensive to run. And throughout all that time, I thought there was no hope. Until then, I too started to deteriorate. And you're probably thinking, around that time, I was only over 10 years old, actually close to 20 years old during my years in service. Well, that is, until 1957, when sadly, I stopped seeing my classmates running on the line. It was a very sad day for us Berkshires on the Nickel Plate Road. And then my time came in 1958, when I was sidelined from service and put into storage. That is until July 18th of 1958, when I was steamed up one last time to help a stranded passenger train, of which was pulled by one of those new Nickel Plate Road diesels, of which I'm guessing had its gauges and engine frozen, because around that time it was so cold, I thought my boiler was gonna freeze, like into a popsicle or something. But during my last revenue run that time, my boiler was nice and hot, and I raced to the stranded passenger train as quick as I could. And yes, I guess you could say that around the time, I was a hero. So when I arrived, I provided that stranded passenger train with steam heat to keep the passengers on board warm. And yes, as you probably guessed, I had a red caboose on my tender, just to let other trains know that I'm running and to not get in the way so that they could see me. Anyway, as I arrived, I helped that stranded passenger train get to where it needed to go. And after we arrived, I was praised a hero for saving all those passengers. And yes, there was also children under the age of 20, 10, and even children under the age of 5, and even 3 that were on board, including little babies and toddlers that were on board. And if I hadn't come to save them, they would all be dead via hypothermia. So yes, I guess you could say that around the time I was a hero. And then I was sidelined from service and finally retired in late '58. And I was put into storage, that is, until 1963, when I was put on static display at Lawton Park in downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I sat there for all those years, rusting away, hopeless, and beginning to think that I would never get back to running again. I was an old engine, and I barely had any energy left to even speak, or to even do or say anything. I thought it was over. That is, until 1974, when the so-called newly established Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society opened on my display and took me out and took me in to undergo restoration to operating condition. And then my day finally came. On September 1st, 1979, just 1 week shy of my 35th birthday, I moved under my own power for the first time in 21 years. And by God, I tell you, when I turned my wheels again, they slipped like crazy. I was so stiff, I thought my whole body was going to fall apart. I was so stiff, I was like so sore, you would not believe me if I told you how it felt to actually move again after 21 years of being on display. And then, a year later, in 1980, I started doing excursions. And I've calculated over 90,000 miles pulling numerous excursions throughout the 80s. And especially throughout the 90s, I was becoming more and more famous and more popular. And yes, you could say that around the time I was becoming a celebrity. Then, between 2001 and 2006, I was restored to blueprint condition, and I was ready to begin my second excursion career. And then between 2012 and 2013, I was running on Norfolk Southern rails, running lots of excursions. And I have even ran on the iconic Horseshoe Curve in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And I became the first steam locomotive since 1975 to be running on the famous Horseshoe Curve. And I tell you, when I rolled up Horseshoe Curve for the first time in years, it was as if it was like yesterday. And like, I remember these lines like it was yesterday or like last year. If you get what I mean, when you get to be around my age, you do tend to remember lots of things, as well as forget some things. In fact, I am going to be running this September in 2018. And also, coming up on the 8th of September of this year is my 74th birthday. That's right, I'm turning 74 on September 8th, 2018. And about a week and a half later after that, I will be running on the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad between September 16th through the 27th. Then after that, I'm done for the season. And not to mention that I have a brother, Pierre Marquand, number 1225. He and I did a few railway tours back in the mid-2000s. And throughout that time, I became the most famous steam locomotive in America. In fact, I am the most iconic steam locomotive in all of North America. Compared to Canadian National 3254, Norfolk and Western number 611, and Southern Pacific number 4449, I am more popular than all of those ones. Well, anyway. It was nice talking to y'all, but I need to get going. I hope to see you all on the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad this September. Take care, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.